Hi guys, it's Melody Lane, and today I'm going to make this card. This wasn't really what I planned on making when I started, but you see me create it in this video. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and click the little bell to get a notification every time I upload a video. You can get the file for this card in my Facebook group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane. And keep watching.
You are watching Melody Lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.
Hey guys, it's Melody Lane, and today I'm going to show you where to get the stitched look that's in Design Space. It's already there. It's not included in Cricut Access, but it's a really great price. First, I found this accidentally when I was looking at some fonts, so I'm going to click on Add Text. I'm just going to add the letter A, doesn't matter. You just need to add a letter. Okay, let's go over here and we're going to click on Edit. While we have the letter selected, and to make it faster, I'm just going to click on Cricut Fonts, and I'm going to click this little arrow right down here to bring down more fonts. And then I'm going to scroll down to Simply Sweet. I could, if I didn't want to scroll, I could just put Start Typing here, and it's going to come up with all these. Much faster if you know the name of your font. It has 5 fonts. It has lots of images too, and I'll show you those in a minute. But first I wanted to show you this. This is a stitched font. So I'm going to click that one. So it's on the stitched fonts. Every letter you write turns out like this. Let's make it bigger so we can see it better. And I'm going to click on layers so you can see the layers. Here's another layer behind it. Let's ungroup all these. So we have to select it, go down to ungroup. Let's go ahead and separate these. We do not need these anymore. We're going to use this one. I don't know if you can see so well, but do you see the dotted line there? Let me change the color to white so you can see it better. These are cut lines. They're like for stitching on a circle, but I don't want them as cut lines. I want them as draw lines. And I want to be able to add this to other circles without having the hole in the middle or just doing whatever I want with that. We're going to have it selected, click on Contour, and take out the inner circle and the outer circle. Then click off of here. Now we just have the circle of stitching. So now we can add this to other things. Let me add another circle. Let's change the color. Let's make it a gray. I'm going to arrange this on top. We can change the size. We can select them both and align it into the center, and then we can attach it. So this will cut inside there. Let's change this back to white. I just like it white. So what if I don't want it to cut? I want it to write the lines. We can change those lines to write. We can change the color of those lines to any color we like. We don't even have to change the color in here. We can just put in any color pen we want. And there we have it. We have a circle with stitching. If you want it to cut and write, you can do that too. So I'm going to detach this. I'm going to duplicate the stitching lines, change one to cut, and then put those right on top of there. And to make sure we get it perfect, we select them all again and click center and then attach. Now you can't see the cut lines on here, but they're there. So it'll cut and write on those lines. Okay, now let's say you want another shape because the circle is the only shape we can get stitching with the font. Let's go to the cartridge. So we're going to click on cartridges and I'm going to type in Sweet. So any cartridge with the name Sweet will show up. And Simply Sweet is first. Has 129 images, so I'm going to click that. So now I have tried to contour out these that have something in them. It doesn't allow it. And these that are blank, it does not allow you to do what I did with the font. I don't know if anybody knows why. It just doesn't work. But let me show you what you can do. We're gonna bring that one in. And the heart. Where's the heart? Is this the only heart? Okay, that's it. Okay, so we're going to insert these images and we're going to just move that out of the way. Let's do the heart first. We're going to have to ungroup. We don't need this piece. We're just working with the heart. Let's try to do the same thing just so I can show you. It doesn't work. It comes up, it can't do that because it says it will have nothing, even though it did it with the other one. So in order to do this, if you want a heart stitched, you can just use this like it is. But if you want it to write those stitching so you can see them better, then what you do is you duplicate the heart. And I'm going to change the color just so you can see it better. So I'm going to change this from cut to write. So I'm going to click up here on write. Now see what it did is it made it open because it's going to write this outside line and the stitching. So now I want it to write that right on top. Let's change the color of this to white just so we can see it clearly. Okay, now to get it perfect, select them both, align, and center. I also want to change this to red. There we go. So now we have to select them both and attach. So now this will write on the outline, which will be pretty, especially if you use a marker. It'll just like put an edge around the outside, and then inside on each stitching line, it will cut and write. And then if you want to add something else inside here, like if you want to make a heart for Valentine's Day, you could do Be My Valentine. And that font just will not work. I'm going to choose a font with a writing style. So I'm going to choose this one. Let's move the spacing together. Move the line spacing. Whoops, wrong way. Closer together. Move the spacing of the letters closer. Could do it like that. I could ungroup them and do them many different ways. So we want to put a block around them and click attach. We can change this writing. Made it purple. So then you can have it right on there. That's just an example. Okay, so now what if you want to make a card and you want stitching around that? Well, the best thing to do is make a square card with stitching, just because this is in the shape of a square. But you don't have to. Let me show you. We're going to unlock this. We're going to go to edit, change this to an A2 size card. Actually, I'm going to change it to a smaller size because I would put a layer on a little bit smaller than the A2. So we're just going to shorten that up a little. And let's change it to white so you can see it more clearly. I cannot take this away like I did in the original circle. It does it like the heart. I want to change this to write. So here it's going to write. Let's move it to the top. We're going to unlock the lock right here. Move it down like that. So we just kind of place it where we want it. This box on the outside is going to write on the outside of the cut. The cut will be right here where you see it in here. So it will waste your paper just a little bit on that part. You want the stitching. And as you stretch the stitching does get bigger. It does not make more stitches. So I guess with big stitches, it's more like hand stitched. You can use these as a guide to actually hand stitch. That would make your project even cooler. So let's center this and then attach. Center and attach. Okay, so now we have a rectangle, a circle, and a heart. Now this is an older cartridge. You might have it and you might not realize it. I had it. I bought it a long time ago. I don't even remember buying it, but I know I must have bought it because it was on sale. And it's on sale again. The digital cartridge is only $13.99, but when you use my code, Melody Lane, you get another 15% off. And if you have Cricut Access and a Cricut Circle, you get another 20% off. This cartridge is not included in Cricut Access. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make a card. Let's go over here. You can see this one is the one highlighted. I'm going to hide the cut. I just want it to be like that. And I want to change the writing to be the same. And I want to put this on a card. Wait, let's duplicate this. And on this one, I'm going to detach because I don't want the words on this one. I just want the words on this one. So now this will no longer cut. It will only write. See how there's nothing there to cut? It's just going to write. You know what? I'm going to detach the writing. So now I can deal with this. Flip it over. I want it this way. Put it there. Okay, now I have speeded this up and I'm just doing a voiceover. I never do it this way, but I am for this because this card was completely unplanned. You see me designing it live I had no idea how it was going to end up. It just came to me and I just kept creating and kept adding more hearts. And you'll see what happens as I create this. Got rid of that circle because I just don't need it. And I just kept adding more hearts. Now I'm adding from the basic shapes the tiny little hearts. Okay, now in order to slice, we have to slice these one at a time because you can only slice 2 layers. So you have to select this and the background layer. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to click on one heart. I'm clicking my Command key on my Mac or Control key on a PC and then clicking each heart one by one. Okay, and we can see because they're all showing in blue over here, they all are selected, and we're going to weld them. The reason we're going to weld them is because, as you can see here in the layers panel, it made all of those only one image. That means this is one layer. So now we can slice this through this layer. We have not attached any of the writing yet. Okay, so now we have those selected. I'm clicking Command or Control. Click on the background image. Whoops, I think that also selected the hearts. So that won't work. So we're going to click that. And I'm going to click on the base image. So now we see that's just around those two. We can see it's selected here and here. So we just have the cut image and it's not letting us slice. That's because even though it's not showing, that base image has an attachment here. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to have to select that. We're going to select that and we're going to detach. So we're going to take this away. We're going to send this piece to the back. It comes to the front every time you change it. So let's send it to the back. So there it is. So let's try it again. Click the hearts, hold down your Command or Control key, and then select just the base. And now we can see the slice is lit up so we can hit it. We can see it has the welded hearts and just the square down here. So now we're going to slice. So now we have these hearts, which we could cut these hearts out if you want and maybe lay some more on there, or they would all be cut individually. I think I'm just going to hide them for now. Just one. Delete these. Okay, so now let's put this to the back. So now these will be cut out as little holes. And I'm going to put a box around everything and we're going to attach. So all the writing will be attached. It's going to cut out this white square you see here. So you won't see all this. It'll be on your paper on your mat. Let's go ahead and make the rest of the card. I want it 4.25 by 5.5 or 8.5 and then by 5.5. And then we need a score line. We need to bring the score line down. Select them both. You can see in the layer panel, they're both selected. We need to align these in the center. And then while they're both still selected, click Attach. So now we got our score line in the center of our card, and we're going to make this a red card. But red is a little bright. There. And then we're going to bring this over on top. So now that's how our card's going to look. Isn't that cute? I love it. But you won't see all the hearts around the outside. All right, let's go make this. In order for you to cut out this card, you need to have the cartridge Simply Sweet, or you need to buy just the heart. So if you buy just the heart with the stitch, that's 99 cents, even less if you have Cricut Access. You can just buy that image, and I don't remember what font I used. You guys? To find out what you've used, okay, Adelaide was the writing. You just click here. Like if you're not sure what you used, you click on it in the layers panel, click the little I, and it'll tell you what it is. Simply Sweet, purchased. This one was the font Adeline. Adeline is a Cricut Access font only. So if you don't have Cricut Access, it's going to ask you to remove the exclusive content, and that will be the writing. If you need to do that, all you have to do is select this here and detach it, and then you'll have to detach just this and then attach everything else, and you can add your own writing. I showed you how to completely make this card, so if you have this hearts, you can make this. I will be sharing this card file with all the people who support me on Patreon and with the people in my Facebook group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane. I have my mat loaded into the machine, and I'm going to load my pen. I'm using the red Cricut pen. It's 0.4 tip. I'm going to push it in. You can see the arrow. I'm holding this up with my finger, pushing down with my other finger, and closing that. That's the proper way to apply a pen. And I have this on fast mode, and I'm going to click go. Okay, here's my mat. We're going to take this off. Don't really need that. And then going to lift this off. And if you're new to Cricut, what I do is look at my wrist. I turn my wrist and my spatula as I take things off, and they don't get warped or anything, and they come off really easy. And got all these little hearts. I hate wasting these. Can put them in a tiny little container. I could always like watercolor those or something. Okay, I got this cut out, and here's my paper, and I'm going to use this Scotch foam tape. So there's so many more things you could do to this. You could color it if you want. You could stamp it. You could add gems to it. You could ink the edges. You can do a whole lot of things. First, let's fold it on the score line. I like to reinforce the score line with the bone folder, but I'm not using a bone folder. I'm just using the Cricut scraper. Why not, right? Does the same thing. You don't have to buy an extra bone folder, but you know, if you wanted a pretty one, I like this one. Okay, so we're going to put this right on top. I didn't do anything to the inside. I most likely could have. I could have wrote on the inside. I can still stamp on the inside. Maybe even heat emboss the inside with a stamp and some embossing powders. But for now, I'm just going to do the outside. And I'm not just going to glue that on like that. I'm going to pop it up a little bit. So that's why I'm going to use this. So I'm going to apply this to the back. This rips really easy. This isn't very thick. You can double it up. So I could take this off, take the paper off, and apply that to that. But I don't really want it too big or too thick, but that is an option. Put a little more here. Okay, that's probably good. Okay, so now you see where the tape is. And I used all Cricut paper, and there's also going to be a link in the description below for this cartridge, Simply Sweet, where you can get this stitched heart. Trying to make it even. I think it's even. Now you could also go over that with some glitter pens. Add a little stickles. but I think it's cute just as it is also. It's just a simple Valentine card. I would love to see what you guys make. Join my Facebook group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane, and please share your projects that you make with my files, or just share any projects you create with the Cricut. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Here's a shout out to a few of the people who support me on Patreon. Sally, Judith, Joyce, Shannon, Christopher, Janet, Karen, Diane, Joanne, Linda, Deb, Jacqueline, Deborah, Luann, Janine, Stacy, Karen, Tanya, Carol, Ellen, Jennifer, Lynn, Bridgetta, Sarah, Tammy, Christine, Jennifer, Sue, Lakeisha, Lynn, Ashley, Misty, Jennifer, Chris, Lisa, Liz, Janice, Brenda, Carolyn, Yadira, Elizabeth, Janet, Jennifer, Madeline, Terry, Kay, Diane, Mary, Tracy, Brenda, Anthony, Julie, Ariana, Dee, Dana, Bonnie, Cynthia, Adrian, and Judy. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you for watching and subscribing.
You are watching Melody Lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.